Hello and welcome. I'm Reshma Shah, a pediatrician and award-winning author, a mom, and a home cook. And today I'm going to share 5 simple, delicious, and nutritious plant-based breakfast ideas that you can customize to suit your taste and schedule. Breakfast is one of the easiest places to explore if you're looking to include more plant-based meals in your diet. Beginning your day with a delicious and nutritious plant-based breakfast is the perfect way to kickstart your morning. And these 5 simple plant-based breakfast ideas take anywhere from under 10 minutes for days when you're really pressed for time to just under 30 minutes when you might have a little extra time in the morning. My 5 quick and tasty breakfast ideas include toast served up 2 ways, overnight oats, a protein-packed strawberry smoothie, simple savory tofu scramble, and sheet pancakes. If you've never tried pancakes this way, trust me, you're going to want to give them a try. So whether you're rushing out the door or taking it a little bit more easy, these 5 plant-based breakfast ideas are delicious, satisfying, and sure to fuel you for the day. For my first preparation, I have a piece of sprouted bread that I've toasted, and I'm just going to spread some nut butter. You can use peanut butter, almond butter, whatever you prefer. Next, you simply top it with some sliced fruit. There were some beautiful strawberries at the market this week, and so that's what I'm using. But you could use sliced apples, bananas, or fresh raspberries. And to finish, I'm just going to sprinkle it with a few hemp seeds for a little extra protein, healthy fats, and for the texture. For my second preparation, I'm making a slightly jazzed up avocado toast. I've already toasted a piece of sourdough bread. And now I'm going to show you how I like to prepare my avocado. I simply score it down the middle and twist the 2 halves apart. Next, I peel the skin of the avocado and place it on my cutting board to slice. And then I just fan out the avocado slices on my toast. To add a little extra flavor and crunch, I'm adding a few slices of pickled radish. You could also use pickled red onions or sliced cucumbers, a little sprinkle of salt, some toasted sesame seeds and hemp seeds, and freshly ground black pepper to finish. To prepare my overnight oats, I'm going to start by placing half a cup of rolled oats into a glass mason jar with a generous dash of cinnamon, about 2 teaspoons of hemp seeds, a tiny pinch of salt, and about 3/4 to 1 cup of plant-based milk. Today, I'm using soy milk. I'll mix to combine, cover with a lid, and store in the refrigerator overnight. Once the oats have had time to soak overnight, you can add in your toppings of choice. Today, I'm using about a tablespoon of creamy peanut butter, a teaspoon of optional maple syrup, some more of those beautiful strawberries from the market, and some toasted pecans for a little added crunch. If you want to see more recipes for oatmeal, including steel-cut oats and stovetop oats, check out my video on oats prepared 3 different ways. Next, to make my strawberry smoothie with a surprising ingredient, we're going to start by blending up about a cup of frozen strawberries, half a banana, 1 scoop of protein powder, but you could also use nut butter and a combination of chia or hemp seeds if you prefer, a splash of vanilla, and about half a cup of frozen riced cauliflower. You heard that right, cauliflower in my strawberry smoothie. It adds a wonderful creamy texture and you can't even taste the cauliflower. And finally, 1 cup of plant-based milk. Puree in the blender until it's nice and smooth. The next breakfast idea is a simple tofu scramble. There's so many recipes for delicious tofu scrambles online. For today's tofu scramble, we're going to keep things pretty simple by seasoning the tofu and sauteing it with some vegetables. I'm starting with 1 package of extra firm tofu that I've lightly pressed to remove some of the water. I'm just going to crumble the tofu into small little pieces. And I'll season the tofu with 1 tablespoon of low sodium tamari. You could also use soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of tahini, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, half a teaspoon of garlic granules or garlic powder, and half a teaspoon of ground turmeric for some color. And just mix the ingredients together to gently combine. You can set the tofu aside and let the flavors combine while you prepare your vegetables. I'm keeping things fairly simple for this tofu scramble, but you can use whatever vegetables you have on hand. For today's recipe, I'm using half a red bell pepper, finely chopped, half a small or medium onion, finely chopped, and 2 to 3 cups of finely shredded kale. You could also use spinach or whatever green you prefer. I've also got freshly chopped parsley for a little bit of color and freshness at the end of the dish. To make the tofu scramble, begin by warming a little bit of olive oil in a sauté pan. Next, add the onions and peppers and sauté until golden brown and softened. In goes the seasoned tofu. Sauté until cooked through and slightly browned, making sure to stir occasionally so that the tofu doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Give the tofu a taste and season with additional salt and pepper to taste. Add the kale and stir to combine, cooking until it's nicely wilted. And to finish, garnish with fresh parsley. To plate the dish, I like to serve it with some toasted sourdough bread and some fresh fruit. And our final recipe is sheet pancakes. If you've never made pancakes this way, you're in for a wonderful surprise. This way of preparing pancakes allows you to make your batter and cook your pancakes all at once instead of having to flip each individual pancake over your pan or griddle. This preparation of pancakes will work with pretty much any pancake recipe, and today I'm actually using Catherine McCord's recipe from Weelicious for vegan pumpkin pancakes. I modified the recipe slightly to use what I have on hand. I'll put a link to the recipe as well as my modifications in the description below. To start, you're going to place 1.5 cups of spelt flour in a mixing bowl, as well as 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a generous 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. Whisk the ingredients to combine and set aside. And now onto the wet ingredients. I've got 1 1/4 cup of plant-based milk, a tablespoon of maple syrup. I'm also adding a splash of vanilla because I love the flavor, and 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. And again, just whisk to combine. Add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and gently fold to combine. You want to be careful not to overmix the ingredients. And now comes the fun part. Instead of making each pancake individually on your griddle or pan, you simply pour the batter into a parchment lined baking sheet. I'm using a 1/4 sheet pan, but you could also make a larger batch to feed a crowd. Before we put this into the oven, I'm going to add some additional toppings, and you can definitely let your kids help out with this part. I'm using chocolate chips on half of the pan and toasted pecans on the other half. Bake at 450 degrees for about 15 minutes until the pancakes are cooked through. I've pulled the pancakes out from the oven, and now I'm just going to slice them up and serve them. I'd love to know, what are your go-to breakfasts? If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And of course, if you want to see more plant-based recipes and cooking and nutrition tips, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.